Preservation Hall. Now that's where you'll find all the greats. And when I was a teenager, the ones that's still alive, that's where they're playing now. And that's where all the people all over the world come in to New Orleans. First place they want to know where the Preservation Hall is. The fellas that's blowing in there today, the old timers that I played with when I was young.
Preservation Hall, yeah.
Yes, about 2.5 years ago, a group of us came to New Orleans. Mm-hmm. It was very difficult to hear New Orleans jazz in New Orleans a few years ago. So we rented an old art gallery and began Preservation Hall. And there are concerts there every evening. People like George Lewis and Punch Miller and Louis Nelson.
My parents opened Preservation Hall in 1961 and gave it its name. It was really their dedication for the musicians and the music that kept it going. I practically grew up in Preservation Hall. Growing up in New Orleans, it's inevitable you're going to be exposed to music. I mean, whether you like it or not, music is the background to life in New Orleans.
My father was a musician, and I would say it was inherent that I become one.
I started playing music with brass bands. My father played tuba in the Olympia brass band with my godfather, Harold Dejan.
I started playing clarinet with the Olympia Brass Band. I became very close with Harold Dejan. At that time, the Olympia Brass Band played at Preservation Hall on Sunday nights. So I was invited to come over and just listen. And Sweet Emma was the pianist then.
Oh, my jolly roll is sweet, and it can't be beat. I know you want it, you can't have it. I ain't gonna give you none. No, I ain't gonna give nobody.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I always did love to play. You play from your wrist. And I always played strong for a woman.
They called her Sweet Emma, but she wasn't so sweet sometimes, you know. She would especially get mean when somebody asked her to take a picture. She said, well, why do you want my picture? You know, when your company comes over, you know, you're going to take it down anyway. Sweet Emma became ill. She had a stroke in, I think, 1982. And I was actually then called in to play as a substitute. That's how I first came into Preservation Hall.
Girl, don't ever let no one man make a fool out of you. Well, you done it with me, baby, and you don't know how.
I was about 12, and Dee Dee and Billie had a job at a club, and my father had asked Dee Dee, the trumpet player, could my son come and learn some music, you know, with you? So Dee Dee said yes. Whatever he did was a lesson. The way he played was a lesson. I have never seen Billie without Dee Dee or Dee Dee without Billie, never. They were always together. Always.
I want a little girl to love a lot. Give her every cent I got. Just a little girl to fall in love with me. She don't have to wave her hair or wear silk and all. Learn to cook a soul as long as she loves it so. I want a little girl to love awful lot. Give her every cent I got. Just a little girl to fall in love with me.
My dad was a musician. Of course, my granddad was a musician, a professor. And my dad used to work in the joints. When I married my wife, they said, what is he? He's a musician. Lord have mercy, poor girl, she's going to suffer.
Years old, my dad took me out to play with the Rica Jazz Band, T-Bar Renee, Georgia Lodge, Jim Robinson, and Willie Humphrey and Percy Humphrey. I was raised up under those musicians, learning how to play traditional jazz. So I thought everybody all around the world played this music. I didn't know that, you know.
I enjoy what I'm doing. I like it. And I kept sort of wrinkles out of my stomach. I'm able to eat. Harry latched on to it. He came down. I guess he liked the music too.
I'm, happy to be able to see, so many people get to hear a New Orleans band live. I think that's the way it should be.
Parents were here, people used to ask, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when these musicians pass on? Is the music going to survive? My parents said, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. And thanks to them and all the musicians who came before us, we're still here. As long as there are people who want to hear the music, and as long as there are musicians playing the music, Preservation Hall will be here.
American traditional jazz. I love the kids because they're just yearning for knowledge, and give you such great rewards when you teach a child something and they come back and play it for you. The reward is so great, all the money in the world couldn't pay for that,
That city, it sure is pretty. Historic scene. I'll take you and parade you down Bourbon Street. You see all the hot spots, hang out with the big shots down